Memecoin tips and tricks. I have compiled a list of the 100 best tips and tricks to be profitable with meme coins. So this is actually unlike a video I have ever done before, and we have a brand new room set up. Let me know what you think down below, but today I'm going to be telling you the best tips and tricks to master meme coins. This is everything that helped me in the beginning. I am definitely still learning. I'm not one of the best traders in the world, but I've been in crypto for a really long time. Over the last few months, I've been trying to learn everything I can about meme coins, not only just to become a better trader, but also to try and make better content for it and understand how to be successful in meme coins. So that is why today I'm showing you the best tips and tricks that helped me when I first got started. Let's get straight into it and not waste any more time. Tip number one has to be using the best platform that you think there is. For a long time, that was Photon. This was probably the go-to platform. Everyone was using this, and it just seemed like a really easy way to onboard people into meme coins. Obviously, as the space grew and more people actually developed new tools to trade meme coins, that narrative has completely changed to the point where no one really uses Photon anymore. We've seen platforms like BullX actually coming out. We've seen little trading nodes like Nova actually coming out as well with their own exchanges, but I feel like by far the best one has to be Axiom, and there is going to be a link down there in the description if you want to actually try out Axiom for the first time. This is the platform I use, and pretty much every other single big streamer and YouTuber, or I guess crypto influencer, uses for meme coins as well. It just seems to have really good fills. It has a really good response time as well, and there are always adding new features and functions to the website to help boost and improve your actual trading, even though this is going to benefit them a lot because they do take a little bit of the fees that you do generate. Obviously, there are a lot of tools that are helping you become a better trader as well, which I think is actually really good for a platform to do. Step number two might be the most important one yet, and that is to subscribe to the channel. I mean, shameless plug. I had to do it. I mean, we have a new room, so you may as well just subscribe for that because this took a long time. But we need to move on to tip number three, and this is finding wallets to track. This helped me more than anything when I was first getting started, and probably not for the reasons that you think. Being able to track wallets was so important to find out what other narratives people were buying into, what position sizes people had, and I feel like this really helped me become a better trader. Now, there are a lot of different ways that people trade crypto. I feel like a lot of people want to track wallets because they want to copy trade their favorite influencers, but this probably isn't the smartest way, because if you do end up copy trading, more often than not, you are not going to get the transaction through before theirs, unless you set your fees crazy high, which then just eats into your profits, which then also means that you are just going to sell after these influencers or pros as well. So as much as it is an advantage to be able to track these wallets and see what they're buying, you don't actually want to copy trade. You want to be able to look at their wallets, find the narratives that they are buying into, and then learn from them as much as you can, especially the strategies that they use, because we do see a lot of different pros and streamers, I think, using different strategies to make money with meme coins. So there isn't sort of one strategy that fits everyone, which is another tip that I'll get into a little bit later. Tip number four pretty much relates directly to this, and that is to use ColScan. This is just a website where it ranks the best traders for a day, a week, a month, and all time. You can just use this to get an insight into how much money people are making every single day, how much the best pros and best meme traders in the space are making. And of course, it does have their wallet addresses as well. So you can copy that and then put it into your wallet tracker through Axiom, which is a really good tip to use. The next one is probably a little bit more advanced, and this is using Twitter trackers. Now, this is obviously going to work best if you do have multiple screens. You can also use this where you have Discord on one panel of your screen, and then Axiom or the trading platform that you want to use next to it, just so you can always be keeping a track of what news is coming out, whilst also looking at what coins are being released as well. But this is really important because there are a lot of influencers that aren't directly related to the crypto space that do have a lot of motion. Probably the most obvious one is going to be Elon Musk. Whenever Elon Musk tweets anything, pretty much a coin is made almost instantly, and if it is a good narrative, if it's funny, if there is potential, then a coin will absolutely boom because of this. I mean, in my last video, I pretty much had my best trade ever from buying into Valentine, which was a Grok companion that was being released. Elon was talking about it, and I was able to buy in because I saw this through a Twitter tracker. Now, there are some different free ones. Axiom also does have one built in, but there are also some paid groups that you can get into that I feel like do offer Twitter trackers as well. So that could always be something you do when you actually start making money with meme coins. Tip number 6 is to keep up to date with the trends. In meme coins, trends probably last a day, maybe a few days at most, and then that is it. I mean, in the last week, I have seen so many trends changing constantly, but there are always narratives on a single day. So you do want to keep up to date with what the narrative is, because if you were to buy a companion now, it probably wouldn't do as well as it would when the actual companion meta was really going on. Tip number 7 is going to make you some free money, and that is to use my referral link down below for Axiom. I guess it's not actually going to make you money, but it would just be a cool thing to do. I hit 50 referrals. So for everyone watching this right now that used my referral, I actually love you. I promise I do love you. So let's just move on to the next one, which is actually really helpful for me and something that I did when I first started, which was just paper trade for a few days until you really understand what's going on. The amount of people that I feel like jump straight into meme coins with the little money that they do have and lose it all in the first day or the first few days is probably a lot higher than what people expect. So the way around this is to paper trade. There are different tools that you can use when looking at charts to mark your entries or exits, and you can use this to simulate buying and selling a coin so that you can actually figure out how good you are doing. And then there are other ways to figure out how much money you would have made, what percentage gain it actually was as well. And I can show you that on the screen right now. So basically that's all you want to do. You want to put in some horizontal lines, and then you can use the ruler tool to figure out how much you actually would have made, what percentage gain it would have been. And this is a really good way to practice because you are simulating buying and selling. You are learning different methods, and it feels like you were getting exposed to the market without actually risking money. So that is crucial. The next tip that I have for you guys is to not FOMO into trades. When you see a coin or a narrative popping off, do not FOMO into it as soon as you see it. This is something that I feel like I lost so much money on in the first few days, where I blew up like 3 different trading accounts. On top of that, another thing that I feel like I've learned a lot is to not rebuy into positions. If you are buying a coin and sell it for a profit, you then don't want to put all that money back into that coin at a later date and watch it just erase all your gains, because that is something that I have done a lot. I think there was a trade a few days ago where I turned 1 sol into 1.3 and it just kept rocketing. I then bought in with 1.5 and pretty much cashed out at a 50% loss. So not only did I lose the gains that I had made on the first trade, I actually lost more than what I made because I put more in trying to chase more gains, because after I'd sold, I just watched the chart go up. So the lesson was I should have been happy with a 0.3 sol gain, and instead I ended up losing money on a trade that I had already made a winning position on. It's obviously easier to say that now because you can actually see the chart going up, and it always is the case where you feel like you should have held it on for a little bit longer, but obviously if the chart went the other way, then you would be glad you sold when you did. So it is really just about making sure that you are not buying in or buying back into coins regardless of if it ended up mooning or not, because there is always going to be a coin that goes absolutely crazy after you sell. It just always happens. Next up is to not buy into the rugs. This is something I did so much. I mean, rug pulls are so common in meme coins, and I feel like there are definitely time zones where the rug pulls are a lot more common, but I feel like this was a really good tip. There are definitely ways to identify rugs. You want to look out for coins that are heavily bundled or have a lot of snipers. I feel like that is always a bit of a giveaway. And you then also don't want to buy into coins that have high dev allocations. I mean, there used to be a meta where devs would hold 80% of a coin. It just made trading insane because you could see the coin go from 100k up to 1 million really, really quick just because there was no liquidity and there was no supply. But now that meta has sort of gone away because so many devs would make an 80% dev coin and then dump the entire position, basically using everyone as exit liquidity. And I feel like a lot of people got into deving because they felt like they could make a lot more money, whereas I feel like it should go the other way. Traders should be the ones that are trying to make a lot more money, not just being used as exit liquidity. I guess that is pretty much the same as the next one, which is just watching out for bundles. You might not always see a dev with 80% allocation, or sometimes a single trader holding more than 5 or 10% of a coin, but this can mean that one person has bought up 50% of the supply and is splitting it across 20 wallets just to have about 3% in each wallet. So it might not look like they are bundling the coin, but they have access to all of these wallets at once and can dump the entire position on you straight away. I feel like a lot of the big influencers now do have side wallets and third or fourth wallets as well that they buy into positions with, just so it doesn't look like they are dumping on people that watch them or are learning from them. But more often than not, this is something that does end up happening, and you can just see this in the trading panel as well. If someone that you are following has a transaction and then the transaction immediately after them buys pretty much the exact same amount, chances are that's a side wallet or a copy trader. But I feel like more often than not, it's a side wallet. Oh my god, we're not even halfway through the list, and I feel like this video has gone on for ages. I'm sorry. But that is why the next tip is to treat it like gambling. You want to only be putting money into this that you are okay to lose. You don't want to be taking out a loan to buy meme coins because that's just not going to work. But I feel like that's pretty much common sense. So let's move on. This is to diversify your holdings. This is really important. If you have one soul in your account, you then don't want to go and buy a coin for one soul, because if that dumps, you've lost everything. You want to be able to put in 1 or 2 soul and then play with 0.3 on a trade. That is actually what I started with. Even though the gains are less, it does mean that you have 5 or 6 attempts at trades before you lose everything. If you want to change this, you can even go lower to buying 0.1 or 0.05, but I feel like at that point, it is probably better to paper trade until you can put more money into your account. But this is definitely something that people need to do before they just start putting 1 or 2 soul into a trade, and something that I still need to be better at as well. So as much as I'm learning and still growing as a trader, I feel like these are all still some things that I need to work on as well, which is, I think, what gives me a unique opportunity to not only help teach you guys, but also I'm still learning as well. So I'm not a pro. So yeah. Tip number 16 is to study the top traders. This is sort of similar to what I've already talked about with ColScan. You can look through, find out what traders are doing, what the best traders are doing, and figure out their methods and I guess their strategies as well, because they all do trade differently. So I feel like you want to try and learn from them. Find pros that are doing trades similar to how you want to evolve and eventually be, and that is going to help you become a better trader if you can learn from them as much as possible. I feel like the next tip as well is more just about being part of a community, whether that's here through my channel or through other Twitch streamers or other YouTubers, whatever it might be. Try and interact as much as you can. Leave a comment down below, and if it's not the creator actually getting back to you, there might be other people in the chat or in the comment section that can help you out. If you have any questions, I feel like that is a really good way to learn, and there are so many communities being made now for people to get advice from meme coins. So that's really cool. I think the next tip has to be finding the market that suits you. There are some different time zones that I feel like trade really differently. Obviously, a lot of people are trading on the US time zone just because it seems to be that's where most people are trading meme coins. But I've noticed that in the US time zones, there are a lot more rug pulls, there is a lot more PvP, and I feel like people really hold positions for a less average time compared to some of the other time zones. For example, the EU time zone, which is a little bit easier for me to trade because I'm Australian, if you couldn't tell from my accent, but EU, I feel like, releases less coins. It isn't as choppy. There isn't as much PvP. Obviously, that does mean there is less volume and coins might not go from 0 to 500k really quickly. But it does mean that when you are in a play, you can traditionally hold it for a little bit longer because there aren't as many people trying to dump on you at one time. So you basically just want to pick what market suits you best, I guess. I think this really follows into our next one as well, which is just to follow the volume. Obviously, with new pairs, there is going to be so many coins released every single minute. You don't want to be buying into coins where you are the only holder. You want to sort of follow the volume, follow the narratives that are being released, find different patterns as well, and see after a few transactions which coins are really getting the motion, because this is just going to help you become a better trader. If you're buying into coins as the first transaction, you might have a 5% win rate where for 1 out of every 20 coins that you buy into, one of them ends up popping off, and maybe that's enough to make you profitable over time. But I feel like a better strategy is to try and wait a little bit, see which coins do have some sort of motion, and then buy into them, as opposed to trying to be the first transaction and making an absolute moonbag play, because chances are it's not going to work. The other tip is really for when you are in a good position though, is to sell into the FOMO. I mean, I don't think Warren Buffett said this exactly, but this is taking a lesson from traditional investing into meme coins. You want to buy when everyone else is fearful and sell when everyone is greedy. So when a bunch of people are buying into a coin because they feel like it could go to 1 million, that's probably a good time to sell because there are so many people buying in. There's a lot of new wallets, there's a lot of volume, there's a lot of liquidity in that coin. After enough people have been in it for a long time, a lot of people are going to look to sell. So if you end up selling last, you're going to sell for a loss. That's just how trading works. Unless you are in a coin though that you feel like actually has narrative. Now there are some coins that have gone to like 100 million market cap. I mean, Filecoin, perfect example. If you got into Filecoin even somewhat late into the game, you're probably still positive, which is just crazy. But there are now communities being built out around this. We have a bunch of communities for Filecoin, but there are also now coins trying to compete with that. And there are communities being built on X or Twitter and Discord as well, where you can interact with people. And I feel like if you do want to hold bags for a lot longer, this is a really cool way to do it. You can be interactive, you can make some friends. So that is a cool tip and something that I definitely want to set up as well. I feel like that is the whole point of YouTube, is to just build out a community. So if you ever want to see me doing something like building out my own Discord, let me know, because maybe I will. I don't know what tip we're up to, so I'm just going to guess and say number 25. But this is to find tools that are going to help you trade. So we have Uxento, I think that's how you say it, which is something that I've used, which has some really cool features. But mostly what this helps with is to see what the volume is, comparing it day to day. You can also compare it hour to hour, see what coins are being launched through different launch pads that are doing the best, which might not be as helpful, but I feel like just gives you a good idea into what coins to look out for. You can also change your filtering settings around this so you don't miss ones on certain launch pads. And it is also really good just to see what color tokens, it sort of sorts everything out in a really nice way so that you can easily identify what coins have been launched through different launch pads on the Axiom home screen. This is really cool, and there is also Twitter trackers and stuff built in, so you can see if Twitter usernames have been used before, if they've made a bunch of other dev tokens as well, which is always really cool to see and extremely helpful. There are so many other tools that you can use though. Some of them are what we talked about earlier with the Twitter trackers through paid groups. There are some other paid groups that might offer benefits like live streams, Q&As, stuff like that, and I'm not going to talk about them because I don't have one. But yeah, I'm sure you've heard about some of the other paid groups. They do pretty well, I think. Next up, we have the YouTube guides. Now, I might be a little bit biased here because I upload on YouTube, but this is where I learned a lot about meme coins, and I feel like the tools as well. There are a lot of people out there though that might just be trying to promote their own channels, or I guess maybe promote rug pulls. So you can sort of be a little bit careful with who you are watching. But there are definitely a lot of people out there that upload good content and actually try and teach you a lot. So I feel like that is really, really good. I mean, RNG was someone that I watched when I first started getting into meme coins. There are a lot of streamers that I watch now. I feel like every time I'm trading, because I sort of trade on my own, I don't have people to talk with, which could be another reason why I set up a Discord or something like that. But I do watch a lot of streams and streamers just to sort of learn as much as I can. They're always dropping little hints. There's always little tips and tricks being thrown out in their chat as well, which is just another way to learn even more. The next tip is again something that we have taken from traditional investing, which is don't emotionally trade. If you are trading and you lose 0.5 or 1 sol, you then don't want to up your position size trying to chase that loss. This is something I did today, which is why I have it in my notes on my phone to not do this, because I need to be reminded. And I guess that shows you that I'm still learning all these things as well. But that is basically the whole idea. If you have a trade limit, every single time, whenever you find a coin that you like, you spend 1 sol into that. If you end up losing a sol on a trade, you then don't want to up it to 2 sol trying to chase that loss, because that is not going to work out well. And more often than not, you are probably going to end up losing a lot more quickly as well. So, very important. And to me, because I'm going to be editing this, don't do it. Next up, hold the winners, sell the losers. I mean, it's easy. It's easy. It sounds so easy, but it's not. You don't want to sell the losers after too much time has passed hoping for a rebound. I feel like a lot of the best traders, you can actually go through and see their wallet performance, which is really, really interesting, but hardly any of them ever lose more than 50% on a trade. But then you see these numbers of trades where they've made over 200%, and it's a crazy amount, because when they get onto a winner, they might take initials out and then leave a little bit of a moonbag in there, or at least some sort of position that could end up doing really well. And this is a key strategy to being successful in meme coins. There's no point buying 1 sol of a coin, being up 3% and making 0.3 or 0.03 sol on a trade, because it's not really going to move the needle enough, and eventually one bad play will probably wipe out the gains you've made for the day. Whereas if you can find a coin that you buy into, you make 50%, you then sell your initials, you then have 0.5 sol left in there, and if that then races up 10x, you've made 5 sol without really risking anything apart from money that you've already made. And then if it goes back down to your entry, you just sell anyway for what you started with, which is, I guess, the best worst case, you know? Oh, we're getting to the end. There's so many tips. I think the next one is about finding the trading style that suits you. There are so many different ways to trade meme coins. I mean, it's crazy. The most common and the most volatile one, though, has to be trading new pairs. This is where you see the 3 different sections on the screen. I mean, I have a screen right here that I can see them on, but there are 3 clear sections. We have the new pairs, we have nearly migrated, and then of course, the migrated section. The new pairs are by far the most volatile. This is where the rug pulls are. This is where the PvP coins are released, but there are new coins every second being released here that have a market cap of like 5 to 7,000, depending on what your filters are, but this is crazy. This is where people make crazy money, but this is also where you can lose everything. I feel like a lot of people like it because there is a lot of risk involved with this, but you have to be really calculated because you can just buy into a rug pull straight away, and as soon as the programs or the bots, whoever is actually doing the rug pulls, see that someone else apart from the ruggers have actually bought in, they're just going to dump straight away. So that is strategy number 1. Strategy number 2 is to buy into the coins that have been actually gathering momentum and volume that have not migrated yet. Once they migrate, they do get a lot of an inflow of volume, so a lot of people do buy into coins when they are around the 30 to 40k market cap, hoping that they end up migrating and can make some good gains from that. And then strategy number 3 is to just buy into migrated coins. This is where there is quite a lot of liquidity. The narrative has already been, I guess, proven, and the chance of being rugged is still there, but nowhere near as common as the new pairs. Obviously, it does mean the gains will be less, because for you to double your investment, if you buy in at 100k, it has to go all the way up to 200k. Whereas if you buy a coin at 7k, it just has to go up to 14. So there is a lot more weighting. There are gains do have to be a lot bigger, but there are different ways to trade, and I actually made a video about this, so if you want to go and see that, check my other videos. This is where there is another strategy which is known as scalp trading, which is where you buy into a coin that has had a big sell-off, hoping for a reversal. I haven't really done scalp trading too much, but it is definitely a strategy a lot of people do, so you can look up that as well. I'm gonna guess tips, because I don't know what I'm up to, but this is number 69. Set up filters. Filters help a lot. You can set up filters just to have coins that are shown at different levels. So if you only want to buy into coins that have 10 holders, you can set that up. If you only want to buy into coins that have more than 10k market cap, you can set that up. Or if you only want to buy bonk coins, you can do that too. So set up filters, find good YouTubers or Twitch streamers or crypto influencers that use Axiom or a different trading platform, and find their filters. It's pretty common with a lot of Twitch chats for you to actually be able to figure out what their filters are. That's something that I did, and it has helped a lot. Next tip, don't be afraid to hodl. I feel like we talked about this a little bit earlier on. I've actually got so many tips and tricks in here that I'm repeating them. But if you believe in a coin, if you feel like it can do well, don't sell too early. A lot of the time, a coin will go up, down, up, down, up, down, before it sort of figures out a trend, a momentum, a direction. If you really do believe in it, then, you know, you don't want to be the one that sits there, sells a coin when you really believe in it, really believe in the potential, and then check a day later and it's gone up to 1 million. Like, that is the worst feeling. It has happened like 5 times to me, and I hate it. I hate it every single time, yet I still sell too early. So again, I need to focus on these tips. And our second last tip that we have for this video, let's just say tip number 99, is don't rush success. I feel like everyone could be profitable with trading. It isn't a crazy statement. I feel like everyone can learn trading. Obviously, there are people that are going to have advantages, better computer setups, better knowledge, better programs, whatever it might be that might give you an advantage. But I feel like even the worst trader with enough time and effort and dedication can be successful. So just give yourself some time, take all these steps and practice them. Practice the paper trading, learn different tools, learn the narratives. Just take your time, because if you want to make millions like some of the best traders in the world overnight, it doesn't happen overnight. I mean, some of them make crazy money, but that's only because they've worked their way up from the bottom to learn everything they can. And that takes us perfectly into the last step. If you want to be a millionaire, if you want to make money with crypto, you have to do these 2 things. Use my referral, because you're a legend. And then subscribe. Hopefully that helps. I don't know. I'm still learning. Again, I've blown up accounts already trading, but I'm slowly grinding my way and have been profitable, which is awesome. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's a little bit different to what we normally do, but new setup, so I had to sit like this. I mean, it's ideal. Thanks. But thanks for watching.